Hi, my name's Joe. I've been a Kiss fan since I was 7 years old. My neighbor let me listen to his Love Gun record, and between the album cover and the music, I was hooked. I, like every other kid on my block, was blown away by the pictures I had seen of them, the music I had heard from them, and the rumors I had heard about them. The blood was real. So was the fire. Gene's tongue was a cow's tongue. They always wore the makeup, and no one ever saw them without it. I remember very clearly being at my grandmother's house one afternoon when she was watching General Hospital. A commercial came on for the new record Kiss Unmasked. I ran straight to my mother and asked if I could get it. She told me, "If you go to camp, when you get back, I'll get it for you." Up until that moment, I had argued and fought every day because I didn't want to go to camp. Boom. There I am, waiting to go to camp. I got on that bus and went, and it sucked. 2 weeks of torture. But when I got home, I got that record. I'm 47 now, and like most of you watching this, I never stopped following the band. I've collected everything Kiss I could get my hands on. I've seen the band countless times, met them, gone on the cruises, and for the past 5 years, I've even hosted my own podcast about them. Recently, I was sitting in my room and I was thinking, it'd be really cool to tell my story. And then I thought, it'd be even more cool if I could tell our story about our love for the greatest rock and roll band of all time. For the next few episodes, we're at the New Jersey Kiss Expo. We ran into a lot of friends that we've met over the past year, and we got to interview a few of them as well. We're going to start with Gary Capp. Gary, we met in Atlanta. He's been listening to our podcast for quite some time now, and he's an awesome dude. We got him talking about how he discovered Kiss, and he told us an amazing story about his mother. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. It's totally awesome.
My name's Gary Cappoletti. I discovered Kiss in 1976.
How old were you in 76?
12.
Don't mind me asking.
12 years old.
12 years old. That's interesting. There's a lot of 12-year-olds that we seem to be meeting. So how did this happen? Was it an older brother? Was it a cousin? Was it a kid down the street?
Actually, when I was younger than that, my brother brought home Kiss Alive, which I saw, and it kind of piqued my interest. But then my best friend in grade school, a year later, in 1976, brought Destroyer to school, and I saw that, and I was hooked. I saw the imagery, and was like, oh my God, what is this? So we, after that, it just kind of blossomed. We went back to his house. We would listen to the records. There was a record shop right next to his house, and in 77, we would go and skip school and go there when the day of release, and we'd sit on the steps and we'd wait for the store to open, and we'd go in and buy, Love Gun, Alive 2. So that's kind of how it started for me, was my best friend in grade school.
Who's your favorite member?
Ace. Always been Ace.
Oh, since day one.
Always been Ace. Simply because I just love the harmonized guitar solos. Plus, back in the day when you saw any sort of, which wasn't much, when you saw any sort of videos or pictures, it always seemed to focus on Gene and Paul. Maybe a little more of Peter. Ace, just for some reason or other, just wasn't in the forefront, so his mysteriousness kind of intrigued me more. So.
Do you remember the first time you actually used your own money to go and purchase a Kiss record?
Sure. That would have been 77. As I said, Love Gun. Skipped school, went to the record store, sat there. It's one of those record store / head shops. So you'd go in there, it'd smell like hemp all over the place. Went in, bought it, went right back over to my best friend's house a block away, and we just played it and played it and played it over and over and over and over.
When you were a kid and you heard all the rumors about the band, were you wise to it, going, "No, he doesn't have that thing under his tongue clipped, and it's not real blood," or were you like?
No, I kind of bought into some of that stuff. You know, you hear all that stuff when you were a kid, and yeah, the cow's tongue and all those. You really did kind of buy into it. In fact, for some reason, I don't know why, I always thought in Alive 2, shout it out loud, for some strange reason, I always thought that the second part of the second verse was Ace singing that.
Really?
When I was a kid, I don't know why I never caught the disparage, or the non-disparage, I should say, between Gene and Ace on that, and I just always thought it was Ace.
You know, I never heard that rumor.
Yep.
That's pretty interesting.
Always thought it was Ace. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, what's your favorite record?
Rock and Roll Over.
Rock and Roll Over?
Yep, by far.
Probably Alive 2. It's just, that's what made me want to go to a Kiss concert. That was probably my third or fourth Kiss album, and I started, as soon as I got it, and with all the gatefold and the book and the tattoos, I was just like, Dad, I got to go to a Kiss concert. I mean, I was begging my parents for months after I got that album to go to a show, and it's still my favorite album to this day.
My favorite record is kind of a toss-up between Alive, Destroyer, and Revenge. I have a hard time between the three, but if I've got anything that brings back memories in my heart, it's got to be Kiss Alive.
Music from the Elder, best album ever. I like progressive rock concept albums. It works.
Paul has always been my favorite because of the way he is and the way he strutters and the voice and the songs. But the thing is, to define, if you look at Peter, the way he drummed like a maniac when he was in Kiss in the early days, he was an animal. Ace's licks, you can sing those licks. He's so unique. And Gene, well, the personality, the demon, the blood, the whole thing. It's a combination. Paul was my favorite, you know, if we talk even about the solo albums, that's the one I listen to the most. So I would say it's Paul, but it's all of them. It's all or nothing.
Well, I think that's pretty easy to tell. I've always been a fan of the Spaceman. I love Ace Frehley. I love the guitar playing. I love the smoking guitar. I love the Spaceman stuff. I mean, just Ace Frehley was always my guy, you know, when everybody else loved Gene Simmons, you know, because Gene Simmons was a demon and he was cool and he was scary, you know, and the girls all loved Paul Stanley and they loved Peter Criss because he's a little kitty, you know. But I was always an Ace guy. Ace Frehley, #1. I named my firstborn son Ace, for crying out loud. I'm an Ace Frehley fan.
Gene Simmons, hands down, absolutely. Musically, visually, always captured my attention, and I think Paul Stanley's the heart of Kiss, and Gene Simmons is the Kiss of Kiss.
We talked about your collection and
Yep.
stuff like that.
Yep.
What's your most prized possession? The thing you have where you're like, oh, I could never. This will go on forever. And
That's a very good question. It's a tough question. My most prized possession. Honestly, I would say I don't have a prized possession as far as things that are bought. My house is full of memorabilia that was created by myself coming to events such as this, and like Gene's Vault, buying a piece of art from Paul. All those events, I create my own frames. I create my own pictures. I put them all over the place. So every piece of memorabilia in my house is something I created, not something store-bought. So I can't really say anything is my most prized possession that is store-bought. It's everything that I've done that is on my walls.
oh, that's awesome! I never knew that.
Yep.
I think we talked about it actually
Yep.
before.
Yep.
Would you say that Kiss has been your biggest influence in your life?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, without a doubt.
How they influenced your life?
When I was a kid, I was the typical kid growing up in the 70s. In high school, we'd get harassed because we were Kiss fans. It always seemed to be Led Zeppelin were the big thing back then, and anybody you wore a Kiss t-shirt, kids picked on you and everything else. And then just in a way, it just sort of made you stronger. It made you, this is my band. I like them. You're not going to stop me no matter what. And it just kind of gave you that internal strength to go and do your own thing. Don't listen to other people. Make your own way. Kind of in that way. And to that day, I'm like this. I'm never influenced by anybody. Never fall into peer pressure. Just I do my own thing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Do you remember the first time you ever got to see them in concert?
I did. First time I got to see him in concert was August 8th, 1979. My best friend, as I said in grammar school, he got to go. Him and another one of my friends got to go to Buffalo to see the Alive 2 show, which was January 28th of 78. My mother would not let me go. I just couldn't, begged her to go. She wouldn't let me go. So the next time they come around was in 79, and that was the first time. And that was quite life-changing for me.
Who'd you go with?
My best friend, as I mentioned, and two other of my close friends.
And, is it one of those experiences where you close your eyes and you can still hear it and see it? And do you have any distinct...
No, but I do have it on audio tape.
Do you really?
So that's the only reason I can. Yeah, I don't have a great memory when it comes to that kind of stuff, but my big thing in life has been collecting audio. I've done it for more than 25 years. I have somewhere around 2,000 shows. So pretty much any show that somebody that I meet has gone to, I probably have it, so I could always give them a copy. So yeah, that's how I remember.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
How did you talked about begging your mother. Was she anti-Kiss when you were a kid, or was it just like you're too young to go to this?
Too young. She didn't have any problems with the band and any of that sort of thing, but I was just young. She just felt I was too young at that time to go. So, yeah.
When it's all over, how do you think the Kiss Army will be remembered?
I think the Kiss Army will be remembered for being loyal. No matter what the band has done, for the most part, fans have been behind them. There are their detractors that have jumped off and maybe not come back, but like everybody at this event and all the events that I've been to, and seeing you and all the other great people are loyal fans, and they'll be there in the end and it's not like Kiss is going to go away. I mean, when they stop touring, they're going to release other things, and they're never really going to go away. So I think Kiss Army will be there till the end. At least I will.
Have you met any of the members before?
Everyone.
Everyone,
especially this year. This has been the year of Kiss for me. I've met all four original members.
How'd you meet Paul?
Bought a piece of art down in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Went to an art show.
And tell us about that.
That was very cool. Went down there. There were only probably about 25 of us in the gallery that bought pieces of art. There were many fans outside that wanted to meet Paul, but they wouldn't let him in because they weren't buying any art. So I went there and I saw a piece that I really liked, and it was sort of not Kiss obvious. It wasn't a painting of Paul or Gene or any of the band members. It was a star. It was very colorful. Just stuck out at me. So, I bought it, and I got to talk to Paul for, 15 minutes, for quite a while, and he was very nice, and he was very, very thankful of me being a fan and buying his art, and, he signed some stuff that I had, and it was great. I have no regrets at all doing that. A lot of fun.
Favorite personal Kiss memory, it's actually somewhat recent. I got a chance to do the Gene Simmons Vault, did the first one in LA. I had never met any of the Kiss members, and to meet Ace, Gene, Eric Singer, and Bruce Kulick at the same time was absolutely amazing. I got to share it with my brother. You know, that time is irreplaceable in my mind.
At the last concert when they came in town with Def Leppard, and there was a moment where Paul came out on a zip line to sing, so everybody goes rushing to that side of the area. I'm stuck in my wheelchair in the handicap area, like maybe 12 rows out. So the rest of the band members are just walking around doing, you know, looking goofy. And I'm standing there going, ah. And so Gene and Tommy both come walking by. They're like, hey. You know, so I got my own personal acknowledgement from it, you know. And Gene actually published one of my pictures that I drew. So, yeah, I guess that would be mine.
When I was 16 years old, I went to work for an arena. The first show I worked was Kiss Animalize tour, and I helped the drum tech set up Eric Carr's drum kit, and I stood behind Eric Carr's drum kit and stared out in an empty arena. For a 16-year-old kid, pretty damn cool, right? And then the second part of that was I stood backstage right before sound check, and I looked to my left and right, and I was standing next to Paul Stanley and Dean Simmons. I was like, holy shit, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, that's my stories.
Everything from when I was a child. Just hearing the 8-track that my dad would put in, picking me up from nursery school. I loved Kiss. I loved the music. I didn't care about the visual. The visual came later, but I'll tear up if I talk anymore.
Did you get a vault?
I did get a vault.
That's how you met Gene.
I did. I did. And that's probably the biggest poignant story, ironic story I would ever have. When I met Gene, I said to him at that time, I said, can I tell you a story? Because I know your biggest influence in your life is your mother. Of course, sadly, we know she passed away a few days ago. And so at that time, I told him the story, which was, and I'll condense it down, is that back in the 70s in my hometown, my mother owned a beauty school. And it was a very lucrative beauty school. So fast forward some years, there was a fire, and it destroyed it. So my mother had to go work at Walmart. So she went from making a 6-figure job down to $10 an hour. But, you know, she was a hard worker. She grew up. She did what she had to do. So 5 years ago, she passed away. So in that time between she got the job in Walmart and she passed away, she would always give me a card at my birthday and Christmas with money. Well, I wasn't too pleased with that because she didn't make a lot of money, and I had a job and I didn't need the money, so I always told her I just really don't need it. I appreciate what you're doing, but you know, use the money for yourself. So as I say, she passed away 5 years ago. Well, at the beginning of this year, when they had the tickets on sale for the vault, I was hedging about getting a vault because it was $2,000, and I thought, well, that's a lot of money. Do I really want to spend that kind of money? Is it really worth it? So the next day, I was doing some cleaning, and I have this dresser, this dresser in my room that I really hadn't gone into in a long time, and so I was cleaning that out, and in a bottom drawer underneath a bunch of stuff I found 13 to 14 envelopes. In those envelopes, each one was for my birthday and for Christmas, all those years. My mother hid those and didn't tell me. So when I opened up all the envelopes, there was around $2,600 in there. So it paid for my vault. So when I was meeting Gene, I told him that story, and he all teared up and everything, and he gave me a big hug, and he said, you know, you're a good son and all this and that. And it was kind of a circle kind of event for me with my mother passing and not getting the money and then getting it. And so it was just kind of my neat little story about.
She was there.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. It was. It felt that way when I opened when they opened the envelopes. It was, yeah, it was quite emotional. It was really something. But I know she probably wanted me to spend it that way, so I did that and then some with it. So it was all good.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, all good.
Tell me about meeting Peter Criss.
Peter was great. Peter was very engaging. Did not rush you through the line. You bought your picture and your autograph, and I was probably talking to him and Gigi at the table for a good 5 minutes when they were autographing stuff, and had a nice little conversation with them, and just very, very nice. After everybody was done, Gigi came downstairs. She ordered out and got pizza for everybody in the place. Very, very nice. It was very pleasant. I have nothing bad to say about either of them. I would encourage anybody to go visit Peter if they have a chance. He was great.
And how'd you meet Ace?
How'd I meet Ace? I've met Ace several times. I met him along with you in Indianapolis, here today in New Jersey. I met him in Buffalo years ago when he played there solo. Backstage, I met him. So I've met him 3 or 4 times over the years.
Did you ever get to have a conversation with him?
Not really. The most conversation I had with him was when I was backstage in Buffalo, and I was sitting there and I introduced myself, and he said to me, he said, "Hey Gary, how far is Niagara Falls from here?" And it was just kind of out of the blue, and I just laughed. I'm like, "It's about 20 miles." It's, and that was kind of the extent of it. I'm like, "Okay, that's Ace." Made no sense, but
Yeah, that's Ace, man.
okay.
That's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of ending all of the episodes with the same thing, because we have a end of the road coming.
Yep.
What do you think? What do you think that means? Do you think that it means just the end of Kiss, or do you think it's going to go on for a long time?
No, I don't. I think the end of the road means end of touring. I don't think Kiss will ever end for various reasons. There's money to be made. There's demos. There's music that they have not released. They will release. I don't think they're ever going to go away. I think you're going to find Kiss is going to be similar to the Beatles, to Jimi Hendrix. They keep releasing things, and they've been gone for a long time as far as performing or being alive, and they just go on and on. I think it's going to be the same thing. I think the thing that's not going to change is this sort of thing. The biggest thrill I get out of any of this, any Kiss event ever, is really not seeing the band. It's meeting the people. It's coming to these events and meeting the people. It's you never run out of people to meet. It's all like one big family. It's just a great time, and I don't think that'll ever end, and that's a terrific, terrific thing.
Out of all the live recordings
Mm-hmm.
that you have
Yes.
of Kiss, is there a single one that you go back to all the time that you're like, I love this show? I want
Yeah,
to do it?
the what they call the Lost Alive 2, which they were supposed to release, but they never did. Love that. It's raw. It's fast. It's just terrific. To me, it's way, way more exciting than Alive 2. Alive 2 is fantastic, but the Lost Alive 2, which was in Tokyo, Rock and Roll Over, is just terrific. It's raw, and it's just fast. It's not doctored. It's just terrific. Terrific.
How will you remember Kiss personally?
I will remember them as the band that motivated me to really do whatever I wanted to do in life. As I said before, they were looked down upon. They were made fun of back when I was growing up, and that never bothered me. And it always made me stay the course to do whatever I wanted to do. Anything I've ever done in my life, I've learned to do by myself, and it was really because of them. They've just been, the influence they've had on me is just, I could really go on and on and on, but they really have. And maybe the greatest thing about Kiss is you can put on Love Gun today, tomorrow, the next day. It always sounds good. It never sounds bad.
Do you think we could spend some time? watching